Okay, all right. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon to our honored guests. Welcome to webinar session of Higher Education Virtual Expo 2021. With me today are Dr. Alex Fischer, the Dean of Mahakarya Institute, and our Brunei film director Siti Kamaluddin, who will be presenting a topic on why pursue the creative industry. So for any inquiries, you can type your question in the chat provided and will be answered during the last 10 minutes of this session. Okay, thank you. You can start now.
Hello.
Hello. Assalamualaikum.
Yeah, selamat petang, Brunei. How you doing? Okay, so I'm Dr. Alex, and this is Siti.
Hi.
Hi. So we brought some slides for you, so we're very interactive. So we're going to share our screen. All right. You can see this or not? Not yet. There we go. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Can I get a thumbs up if you can see our screen? Can. All right. So, yes.
I can see the screen too.
I can see. Because it's virtual, we don't know what's on it. But we got you for 40 minutes.
Yeah. Hey.
Here we go. So why pursue a job, or why pursue the creative industry? It's best, I think, if we start with a short quiz. All right, so I'm going to ask you all a question, and it's as follows. Is this the creative industry? Well, it looks like a bird, and it's a bird that is wearing a dress. So let me see. Do we have anyone who's logging in and saying, no? Okay. I can't see your remarks right now. So I'm just going to say the answer is yes. It is part of the creative industry. If you take a look, this lovely bird is wearing a dress and they're actually selling it. This is what the creative industry is all about. Not necessarily making dresses for birds, but it's applying creativity or something that you draw from within your own mind and imagination, and then sell it. So
I've worked in industry and I haven't made a dress for a bird yet.
No.
All these years.
23 American dollars for a bird's dress.
Yeah. But we made nasi katok monsters in the last movie.
You did.
Yeah. Which
Okay.
is like kind of fun. And then
Right.
TikTok and everything.
It's and the bird is also posed in various different positions.
As it should, right? To sell
as it should.
The green dress.
Yeah. So what is all this pushing towards? Well, ultimately, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So ultimately, the creative industry is something that not a lot of people completely understand. And the reason why they don't understand it is because it's not well defined. So we're going to go ahead and go through a few slides. Just bear with me a couple more seconds. And we're going to really press the limit of what we know and understand about the creative industry and how it applies to you as a up-and-coming Bruneian ready to go into the workforce. Almost there. Siti, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm really thinking why I haven't created a dress for a bird all these years. Because we've worked with cats. I did request it for an owl in one of my scenes before, but my producer didn't give me because it's kind of difficult to get an owl that can act. So typically when you have
Harry Potter, no, Harry Potter, they have the best acting.
When you work
birds
with animals, so
in the industry.
you train them from young.
Egg in this case.
Young. So yeah, I never had the opportunity to.
Sharing my screen. Here I go. Okay. So we're back to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the concept of the creative industries is not new, right?
No.
I've bolded out various segments of it that you've probably heard of, such as theater, dance, music, and of course, film, us being the film school, we're pushing that one. But you should also know that there is a physical emphasis, and that being architecture, books, crafts, performing arts, arts and antiques. Then you got the digital side, publishing, television and radio, advertising, design. So the creative industry is not just one sector per se. It is a lot of different sectors, and it's not easily put into the box, if you pardon my pun there, because we're trying to think out of it. So the creative industry and creative sector can be a number of things. But we, of course, at Mahakarya, we are pushing the film industry. So let me move now to my next slide. Second question. Robots are good.
Yes or no? Yes.
Robots are good. Yes or no? Okay, so this is kind of a loaded question. We're going to talk about robots like this. Are these kind of robots good? They certainly are convenient.
Yes, they're good robots.
The good robots. So what this is, what you're looking at is in supermarkets or any other kind of large department stores, you're finding more and more of these robots that are working as checkouts. So what does that mean? What does it mean to have robots like this working as checkouts? Well, it means that jobs are being replaced. And as you can see right here, you've got 47% of the jobs could actually be replaced in America in the next 20 years. Creative industry, however, and creative jobs are not easily replaced by robots. Now, I know there is software out there that allows a robot to write a script, and you can also have an algorithm that will edit a film. But trust me, no one is better at being human than being a human. So we understand all the craziness that goes on inside of our brains. Both the beauty and the torture is somewhat torturous, especially for an artist.
But most of it is emotions and feelings, which I think is very hard to put into any sort of algorithm.
Yeah. And this is why it is, the word there is somewhat immune. It is definitely somewhat immune. If you've got a menial task, that is something that can be replaced by a robot, you probably don't have great job security.
So is robot good or no?
Oh, I like robots for convenience. But I mean, it's not a fair question, first of all. Good and bad is or yes and no is never easy. There's always a lot of gray areas, but it is something to be aware of, especially as you're just starting to enter the workforce. The job security and what you're doing may not be around in 5, 10 to, as it says right here, 20 years. So creative industries do offer you somewhat of protection and immunity simply because there is no one like you. It is hard to make a robot that replicates who you are because there's only one you that's had your experiences and only one that thinks the same way that you think. There's definitely one Siti Kamaluddin.
I hope so.
Okay. Next question. Are artists supposed to starve?
No. Of course not.
No. Don't starve?
No lah, my God. Alex, you know the artists have really good lives.
They do. I know. And it's important that people know that because there's a common misconception that if you're going to be in the creative industries, you're going to be struggling your entire life.
No, like any industry, I think you start at the bottom and you struggle and then you work your way up.
Yeah. But also there's a little secret about life. It is struggle.
Yeah.
Regardless of if you have a stable job and you're working 9 to 5 or if you're an artist.
That you shouldn't starve.
No one should starve. We agree that. But you must look at a creative industry not in this paradigm, as in you must suffer for your art, you've got to starve, and only to make great art you have to be in experiencing tremendous pain or discomfort. That's not true. No. Some of the best art is created out of comfort because there is wonderful things in life, and that's what people want to hear about. So, bearing that in mind, our last slide. As you can see right here, the arts is actually on the move and increasing. Because as we pointed out with the second question about robots, yeah, the arts industry is actually found to have a very valuable place in most economic sectors. And what they're discovering is arts actually blends itself into other more secure sectors. I say secure because they've been around and established for quite some time, but the arts does help out quite a bit because it's also very dynamic. You could be a millionaire at 18 because you have a great idea. I'd like to see someone try and do that in banking at 18. You wouldn't. It's very difficult. But the arts, you're pulling something from within you, you're creating it, and now you're on your way to a career.
And of course, I'm looking at your presentation. Top arts and culture industries. Number one is broadcasting. Number two is movies and all that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that anyway, those are with the course that is now available in Brunei through Mahakarya. These are the things that you'll go into. You'll go into broadcasting, because we like to say film school, but what it really is that you don't come here to learn to make movies only, because screen has evolved. Traditionally, dulu-dulu we see the film kan in the theater and very big screen. But now our screen is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, like to your telephone. And yeah, so this is why the diploma and certificate that we offer in Mahakarya is really important to have in Brunei, because we need to start making our own content. Really, we need more of Brunei content. And and we need to start watching it and sharing it with the rest of the world. It's very important.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And there are lots of careers in the film and television industry. Now we have a chance to read some of the comments. So I'm going to take a moment to stop and breathe and say, robots are good to me. Ha ha. Good answer.
Because I like Transformers.
Transformers, Michael Bay's film. Yes, he is a magician there. Okay, a question for you.
To Puan Siti, do you open for audition for your next film? I always open audition, although I'm making a Ramadan series. So yeah, just watch out on our IG. Typically, we will also share on Oops, actually. And yeah, just watch out for those audition dates.
This is a born actor, right? Because here we are talking about education and they're auditioning.
Yeah, because and that's what you get to do. That's what you get to do in this school, right? Sometimes you're holding the camera, and the next time you're in front of the camera.
That's
right. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Siti, keep talking for a few more seconds while I line up our next set of slides. Maybe you want to talk about how you got started.
Oh, writing, research. Yeah, and I don't know. I really like. I don't know where the idea that there's the struggle. I mean, this is all the industry, I think, but the idea that sometimes people think there's no job out there for people like us. But I find that we're always busy, and yeah, I don't have enough crew yet. So not just me, but all the other production houses also, I'm sure not enough, because I know that our first batch of graduates coming up, they're already working and being hired by different production. That's right. So this is a very good industry to go into. Don't be scared. I know it's not, typically parents want us to become doctors and lawyers or business. It's okay. It's also a good career to be in. And, inshallah, if you work really hard and really it's a career based on hard work, you will do well in it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
No, absolutely. And when Mahakarya was started about 5 years ago, but actually it was an idea you had during Yasmin filming.
Yes.
Because she was bringing in so many crew from overseas. Yes. And believe it or not, that's so expensive to bring in these people because they generally work with unions. And so you have to pay the unions and so on like that, and accommodations, so on like that. So saw an opportunity there in which to provide greater employment opportunities for Bruneians, but also to build the Bruneian industry. To be a hero, we would all love to be the hero. Saying that, now I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And we are going to focus on, yep, right there, and share. And here we go. And I've got slide number 1. Okay, so we're just briefly going to talk to you a bit about Mahakarya, and this will go into the industry, meaning how we try to impact it with our students. But as you see, the inception of when it really began was 2017, but then we had our first cohort start in 2019. We are graduating our first cohort of 5 students in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So be sure to watch out on Rapapagi. Will be coming up. The students will be featured on that, talking about their most latest productions. We believe in practical filmmaking. That is, if you're a student and you come here, you're going to make 30 to 40 films, roughly. And that's on a low end because we're always making films. We try to demystify the filmmaking process, and so you can then take advantage of it. If you think of filmmaking as so hard or something that's so out of reach, then it's always going to be that way. But when you actually sit down and you break it down into all of its elements, it's actually very simple. You just have to have the right people in the right position. So,
and the right skills.
Right skills are always key. All right, opportunities in film education. So now we're talking about what it means to be in the creative arts. You can go into the content creation industry with the certificate that we're just now offering, or the diploma, but you can also continue on into higher education in Australia. And Siti yesterday mentioned that 2 years diploma here and then 2 years degree in Australia.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first found out about it also, when we were partnering with TAFE Queensland, I thought, wow, I wasted so much time because I did O-level and I did A-level 2 years and I did degree, actually I did my degree in the UK, so 3 years. So that's 5 years from O-level to a degree. But then, but then if you come to Mahakarya, so you have your 4 O-level, do a diploma for 2 years. Yeah, that one. And then you can go to Australia another 2 years. You're done. So that's O-level, 2 degree in 4 years.
2 O-levels.
Yeah.
So
laju lah. Alex, I don't know what to say. Like in this creative industry, we work by reputation, and the longer you work, obviously the more work you produce. So a lot of, like, a part of me, the only thing maybe I regret is that I didn't start much earlier in this industry.
Sure.
Because I was a bit older than, I was in my 20s when I started.
Yeah.
I wish I had started when I was 17, 16.
Yeah, but to that point, and keeping that in mind, the film industry is one of those rare industries that the older you get, the more valuable you become. So it's seniority on set and so on like that. So it's really one of those with some actors and actresses, this doesn't necessarily play out. They do have a use by date. But for people behind the scenes and those that are creating, the older you get into your really good directors don't become good until they're in their 30s, because it takes that long to understand life, to be able to talk about life. It's not just about setting up a camera. It's about discussing what human emotion is, capturing it on film.
A lot of big directors, the famous one that we know, are in their 50s.
Yes, and have had lots of jobs before they came into film. Sharing my screen. Okay, going back to the desktop, and we are going to now look at our third slide. So our curriculum is based upon 2 semesters. First semester, second semester is really just about getting your feet wet to the industry. For us, workplace health and safety is one of the most important aspects you will be learning, but also what is set protocol, how do you observe, how do you role play, etiquette, and codes of practice on set. As Siti said before, you don't necessarily want to ruin your reputation that early. You want to have a reputation for being hardworking on set, and from there build your career. So you see, we have year 1 and year 2.
Yeah.
Yep. And in your 4th semester, this is when you're making content, lots and lots of content. And much of this content can be exhibited for the public to see, be it on channels such as Oops.
Yeah.
Yep, or even on progressive, those varieties.
We had the student made the TV show for Astro.
Yes, we did. Yep. A day in the life of a film student. You see they work as a team. The crews are very big because the more people you have, the more you can focus on your one job and the better the production is going to be. So this is shot on location. It was actually a living room that they transformed to look like a Chinese restaurant. Moving on from there, let's talk about money. So where does Mahakarya compare with other film schools? Well, as you can see right there, we're just under 29,000. That's less than you'd pay if you went to Limcat Wing or Multimedia University in Malaysia. If we're looking at Singapore, significantly less. And these are just film schools in the region.
Yes.
If you want to go to USC, probably one of the top ranking film schools in the world, University of Southern California, you're going to pay upwards to $100,000 a year.
Yes.
To go there. So
it's where a lot of Hollywood workers come from.
Yes.
USC.
Yes. But it's very difficult to get into. Not saying you can't. It's just very, very difficult. So we are super competitive. Film school is expensive though, simply because film is expensive. The equipment, yes, and the expertise you're relying on people who've been in the industry for so long. They too deserve their credit and so on.
Yeah. So when the our Brunei student enroll here, they don't actually need to have their own camera or lighting, because the school provide all of that. So you have access to the studio, all kinds of equipment. The only thing they're required to have is a laptop.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is important. You need to have a laptop if you want to enroll. But yes, you're right, Alex. It is very competitive in terms of its price because the equipment is obviously very expensive. And when they are working at the school here and even on location, all of this, they're insured together with the equipment.
Yeah. So this is where the costs come from because you are not required to supply your own tripods.
No.
If you want to buy and bring your own equipment, absolutely, we'll teach you how to use it.
Yes,
that's fine. Otherwise, you'll be using lights like this. We got a green screen there. This is studio.
Yeah.
Kind of demystifying.
Yeah, we're in the studio.
We have the advantage of being in the studio right now.
If you come to our open day, this Saturday and Sunday from 2 in the afternoon until 8 in the evening. So dari pukul 2 sampai pukul 8 ada open day, Sabtu dan hari Minggu. You can try out this green screen. And then we can do with our action director, you can try some stunt work.
Yeah. We will, yes, I will share with you the environment, the lecture room, studio, and so on like that. Kind of projects. I will get to those projects in just a second.
And you can come and visit during the open day. So you can see the studio.
Sure can. Okay, just getting back to what the requirements of the diploma are. 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week. So it's Monday through Thursday. We start at 1 a.m. and we go until 6. The reason why we like to start at 1 is because most filmmakers like to sleep in. Plain and simple. It's better to get started in the afternoon. But we are open in the morning. So those who like to rise and shine early can come in and start working on the projects and basically take advantage of the full experience. And we are currently enrolling for March. So this will be our second cohort that comes through. All right. So this is where this identifies some of the companies our students have already got attachments with. So as you can see, Origin, that's Citi's company, but Oops, which is also their platform, but we've had people go with Progressive. We've had them go with various other, including the Ministry of Education, various other companies, and start making films with other people and applying their skills right away. And I'm so happy that out of the 5 students we have that are graduating, nearly all of them, I would say even 5 out of 5 are working currently with Bruneian filmmakers. Yeah. Here's our student achievements. So some of the projects that we've been working on, some commercials that the students made for JPMC. They're working very closely with UNN. Thank you very much. And also they had a music video by Hurricane Honey that was premiered on the Progressive Media platform. And our collaborations, we work very closely with UBD. People don't understand that, but UBD actually comes here to use our equipment and our expertise. This is where we
learn the actual operation and how to set up lights.
Yes. And we've had some IBTE teachers come in and learn from us as well.
Yes.
And then we work very closely with high commissions and film festivals. All right. Siti mentioned before that one of our students had her, she made a TV half an hour that was premiered on Astro Oasis. She did this after being in the course for 8 weeks. She sold the TV half hour. Great job. Yep.
And she's only 18.
Only 18. We've had our students work with Thai Media Fund. This was a 12-country project in which they made a documentary that will be shared across these 12 countries, including Korea and Taiwan and Bhutan.
Yes. Yeah, Bhutan is there. I would love to go Bhutan.
Yeah. And then Save the Rhinos, doing our part to help save endangered species around the world. Yeah, in Africa. All right. So this is one of our students. His name is Alfat. And this is often what happens when you go to set and you're just learning, observing. You got to sit there and pretend, not pretend you are a human sandbag. But his job, very important, because that light is needed. And it gives it a chance to look at how a film set runs. Yeah. So
it's important. I need that space light.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important. Couldn't shoot that scene without, because it's so big, the part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back. We have one slide left. And this is more dedicated to how we want to collaborate and push a film economy here. Yeah, so when we say non-academically inclined, we are completely pushing towards skills.
Yes.
Film schools are fine later. There's a difference between film production schools and film schools. Film schools are generally theory-based, but film production skills like TAFE, what we offer, are about skills.
You have to do it. You gotta get your hands dirty.
Yep.
Hold the camera, pasang lampu, mesti belajar semua. You have to belajar editing, grip, pasang track, mesti belajar. So this is important. So at least you can do all of this safely. So you work to a standard, and then you're used to working with standard equipment as well. Penting nih. So that we overall, Alex, that when we work, sometimes when the raw material is good and they're trained, right? Then that's when that's when we can increase the overall production quality of the country.
Yeah,
it's really important, because we cannot even begin to write a book if we don't know the alphabet.
Yes.
So it's the same with production and creating content. So that's like, all kind of content kan, semua video. Mesti juga tadi belajar. Kalau kan pegang kamera belajar, you must learn how to use the camera properly. Semua gambar itu lawa, and then the cinema language. Ini apa artinya nih? If you put the camera on track, lain lagi artinya. There's not everything that you do on screen must have reason. Atau ada reasonnya, ada motivationnya. Sekali orangnya akan marah. If somebody gonna be angry, right? There must be a reason to push that person to be angry. If you're gonna move your camera from A to B, ada juga reasonnya. If you're gonna set up lampu in a certain way, there must be a reason for that. So all this can be learned, and is all skill that need to be learned if you want to work as a professional.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Moving back to our shared screen and just covering this last. Yeah, we do our best to help local talents, and this is right now what we're doing is if you're a filmmaker out there and you have a great idea and you would like to crew up with Mahakarya students, you can do that. We don't provide the funding per se, but we do provide in kind, and that is the students come. The students will work very hard for you, and trust me, they will definitely improve your production. And then finally, we have scholarships. So we've got a number of scholarships that are on offer, and we're currently looking for students to fill them. What type of person should be applying for a scholarship? Dedicated, interested in learning, open-minded, and you got to believe in yourself. It doesn't mean you have to have talent, but you have to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, you believe you can do it, we're going to get behind you. And we're going to see that through. If you don't believe in yourself, then there's no reason for us to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are around 10 minutes left.
May I know what kind of projects your student have to make? That's the question.
Have to make. So if we're talking about what is required by TAFE, yes. Okay, they're required to make short films. They're required to make PSAs, which are public service announcements. They're required to make documentaries, music videos. They're also required to make instructional videos. And then probably the coolest, they're required to make experimental.
Yeah. And also some like fast turnaround videos, right?
That's for
they
editing.
need to learn how to work quickly.
Yeah.
So for example, I remember one of the exercise, and it's a real life event, maybe with the Australian High Com, last time when they have some guests over, and the student then have to shoot it and then edit it, and then it's ready in the same day.
Yeah. 4 hours later, because they had to premiere at the event.
At the end of the event, they play the video. So the students are able to do this.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah. So, and the projects are also loosely, when I say music video, it can be a variety of different music videos. Could be just the band playing up on stage, or it could be a narrative. That is left up to the student. The creative aspect is the student. We are solely concerned about the skills and the form of the actual product.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? You mean to work at the school? Would you like to have an opportunity to pursue your career? Can you define there?
There as in Mahakarya?
Or with Origin? So we have a policy. I'll just say this right now. We do not hire our own students right away. Okay, so if we have a student who's great and they graduate, we encourage them to go off into work, because we want them to experience the film world and so on like that. If they come back to us a year later and they've had a lot of experience and they can actually contribute, yes, then we look to hire. That's a good question. For the film industry, will it make lots of money in Brunei? This is like my robot question. Are robots good or bad? How much is lots of money?
You have to define lots.
Yeah. So
to some people, 100,000 is a lot. To some people, it's very little. So is it 1 million, 10 million, 100 million? Then you only, if you want to touch 100 million, and that amount is only oil and gas in Brunei industry. Yeah.
A rule of thumb that we're looking at in terms of production costs is that if you want to produce 1 minute of screenable material in the theater, that's the movie theater, you need to at least spend $1,000. So if you have a 90-minute film, you need $90,000.
And that's really, really low budget. That's very like micro budget film.
In the US, where you're looking at $6,000 to $7,000. It's astronomical how expensive the film industry is. Why is it so expensive? You've got a lot of people that are highly trained that are working in it, but it's also big projects.
Yeah, I think in Malaysia, like typically the budget for a movie is between 1.5 to 5 million, something like this. So 1.5 consider very small. But in Brunei, if we work on a movie, is 150,000 is small budget. But if you have like 1.5 million, it's considered big budget. So because our market is smaller, right? So it depends on how much is a lot for you. Now, if you ask me, will you be, is it possible that you will earn more than $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month? Absolutely. But if you ask me, am I going to be earning 100,000 a month? Well, maybe that's a bit, you need to be maybe super famous to do that. You know, it depends on, and each worker is different. Each film worker is different. Some is more experienced, they will earn more. The more time you put in, the better you are at it. So you become more in demand. So then you will make more. You know, some people go on set one day, $5,000, just on set one day.
Yeah.
Some people go on set one day, $20,000. So you don't have to work every day, right? So when you do wake up and work, you need to make it worth your time.
But
it depends on
it's hard to reach that level.
Yeah.
Not everyone can reach that level. And so the misconception is you get in the film industry, you're going to be rich and famous. That's not true, because there's a lot of hardworking, anonymous people who just love their job and they have a stable career and they can raise a family, and that they're happy with.
Yeah. I don't know, because we don't have a set rate. So I would say between maybe the cheapest lah per day pun, maybe the cheapest like $30 to $50 per day. That's the cheapest, like crew level. Yeah.
And you get fed while you're on set.
And you don't have to worry about your telephone, your fuel, and your makan, minum, semua kena jaga. So your gaji tu bersih. Yeah.
Yeah, you're taken care of. Like that.
And your insurance is there and everything. It's good, yeah. But it's hard work. So that's why all the things like macam your food. So if you shoot all day kan, breakfast kena sediakan, there's tea, and then tea and coffee at all times, snacks, lunch, and then your afternoon food, and then you have dinner. So you go after a certain time, there will also be then supper, you know. There's always food, like you can always request anytime. It's because when you work, because we're so specialized, so if somebody is handling like, handle lampu saja, so that you don't think about any other problem outside of your work. You get what I mean? So, and then it depends juga kan macam the HOD and then about the payment kan. So HOD will get much more than crew lah. Sama juga macam if you work in government, if you're a director and then you are pegawai and you are clerk and then you are office boy, itu this different scale. And it's it's the same. Like depending on how many years and how experienced you are.
Yep. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left. We had requests to show us around. Please just come to our open day.
How can we increase the market here in Brunei? Watch and support local content.
Make good films. Seriously, if Brunei started making content that was bought by Korean broadcasters, it would be incredible. But instead, what's happening is we're watching Korean content.
Oh, benar. Apa kan?
So we start
only
making...
one country in the world speak Korean, and we're all watching it. Yeah. Why only one country in the world speak Bruneian? Everybody should
must look
if it's good.
Film and
so
television.
We have to make good content
as an export.
Yeah,
it is 100% a natural resource that comes from the minds and the creative people of Brunei. They can then go out to the world. You don't have to make Bruneian-centric stories. You can make stories that are general to all of humanity. It's just set in Brunei.
Yeah,
wonderful. Do it. But the problem is we're not getting that and it's quality control. We're not getting the quality control out there. That is why we're here. We're trying to emphasize quality, because then you can actually start to play on an international level.
It always starts with education. Education penting. Yeah, I mean, I always use this and I use it so many times. I use the analogy of driving, Alex, because I said you cannot even drive a car if you don't have license. So what makes you think you can go and make this if you don't go to school?
And I also made the reference yesterday, being digitally literate, that is knowing how to use a camera and how editing works, is the equivalent of reading and writing today.
Yes.
It is. Plain and simple. You must be tech savvy, and part of that tech savvy is understanding media, film, television, radio, podcasts, you name it, internet. It's all out there, video games. It's all manipulating. It's all a way of constructing a narrative. And you have to know that the same way a sentence is constructed, the same way you read a book or poetry.
And we can talk much more about this at the open day. I will be here during the open day from 2 to 8 this Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
So I'm not having a weekend off. I'll be here. I look forward to meeting you all. And then you can ask all kind of questions.
How long to make just one film? Last question.
Oh, I have made Hari Minggu yang keempat from start to finish. Means start is writing 3 months until cinema.
Tiga.
But then I also have made a movie that took me 2 years and Academy took me 1 year.
Dua.
1 year is from start of writing until keluar cinema.
I can count to 3. That's it.
Yeah, Alex, but 3 months is too much lah. Like it was so stressful. Like writing macam 10 hari, 10 days of writing.
But there were films that will take 10 years. There's films that can be turned around in a couple of months. If you're shooting dogma style, you can get it done in a weekend. It all varies on the media and what you need. But thank you all. You've been a great audience. Thank you to MOE for arranging this.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes,
Have a good weekend, everyone.
I see you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yes, come to open day.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Fischer and Siti Kamaluddin, for joining us. Okay, so everyone, thank you very much for attending the webinar session 2021 with us. We hope that it benefits all of you, and see you tomorrow for more interesting topics. Bye for now.
Bye.
How do you turn those?